I think that's quite right. I would say a couple of things. I think part of what, I think I suspect many of us here would agree just by virtue of the work that we do, but I think the first question is to ask at a big structural level is whether the secular is to be defined as something which is against religion or not. And that's, there's all kinds of books that are being cranked out that address those questions. But the answer is, that's a misunderstanding of what the secular needs to be. Then I think the interesting questions become, then what? And part of what I was offering in the little dialogue between Williams and Benedict is that I think the really challenging questions are in that zone. They say that if religion is something which exists within the secular, can contribute to the constitution of secular meaning, on what terms should that occur? On what terms can it occur, given just the realities of law and politics in given contexts? And I think Benedict is offering one answer to that question, which is to very much go through the secular. And to your point about the ancient world, I think that's quite insightful. I mean, Benedict doesn't dwell on he's very Augustinian in his theology. I mean, you can sort of read a sort of a city of God theology lurking in the background between lots of this, though he doesn't track out the genealogy. But I think part of what he is doing is offering this vision of the secular as, in part, nothing more than a limited sphere within which people live together to pursue limited goods. And I think he views a certain form of secularism as violative of that basic insight of the secular. And this is why I mentioned the language of universalism, universality, that really concerns both Benedict and also Williams. I mean, they view secular law, and interestingly, both of them focus on human rights, the sort of language of human rights, as coming to constitute a kind of morality, embodying an anthropology, a teleology, that is so totalizing that it presents itself as incompatible with religion. And I think they're both trying to puncture that and recover an idea of the secular as something more limited. It's how people live together. Now, I think Benedict would say that ultimately that understanding is only fully rendered coherent and sustainable within a certain intellectual and cultural context. But of course, there's a way of reading just the original Augustinian idea of the secular as de-divinizing the ruler, just the pursuing limited temporal goods. And in that respect, there is this kind of simply return to ancient insights over and against what Benedict at least would propose as late modern distortions there.